This is the Team Clearcoat podcast. We're two friends finally doing something about our obsession with cars.
We're probably not doing it well, but it should be fun, and we might actually learn something along the way. I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave, and this is our show.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Ian.
Welcome to the last Team Clearcoat podcast.
It is the last Team Clearcoat podcast, Ian, but not our last podcast.
Correct.
So before the sigh of relief washes over people, actually, someone told us to cool it on the self-deprecation. Let's do that. Let's do that. I know that's not on brand for you, but you know what? This is our 213th episode.
If I cooled it on self-deprecation, I would just like wither away like a husk of a man. There would just be nothing left.
Well, let's see how far we can push that.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
I'll last about 30 seconds.
We've been doing this for 213 episodes, Ian.
That is true. We have been.
So over 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So we celebrated our podiversary on September 6th.
I knew that.
Yeah. It was 4 years. I sent you a text the day before.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
And so we've mentioned this on the show before, but there are some changes afoot at Team Clearcoat.
Yes. So the big change that you will be seeing is obviously our name. So we are going to be retiring the Team Clearcoat name.
Yep.
It has served us well-ish over the last 4 years. We've had to explain it a lot.
Yes.
We've gotten referred to as those coat guys.
Yep.
Among other things. So we just feel like it's maybe holding us back a little bit because there's a lot of confusion as like, do you talk about paint? Is it a detailing show?
Right.
Which is not what we're about.
Right.
So for anyone who didn't know, the name meant the origin of the name was because we went to a track day together. And at the time you had Dusty Rusty, which was your beloved Saab 900 Turbo.
Correct.
And NG 900 Turbo.
Yeah.
And I had my trusty Volkswagen R32, both of which had failing clear coat issues.
Yes.
And we were in the paddock and we managed to snag like nice spots in the paddock.
Right. Here we are next to a nice Porsche 911.
Yeah. And that's how the rest of the paddock was. It was all like brand new vets and nice.
An Elise race car.
I don't know how we ended up at this track
less than a lap. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And so we were like joking about our like crappy cars and we were like, well, here's Team Clearcoat over here. Yep. And that was before the show started or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the origin of the name.
Yep. Yeah. And so as Ian and I started the podcast, we just kind of chose that as the name because that was really the only thing that we had.
Right.
And it was before the show even really had a voice.
Right.
So now we've firmly landed on the show being centered around enthusiasm around anybody that looks at their car as more than the commuting appliance.
Right.
Right. And being a welcoming, inclusive place for car enthusiasts on the internet.
Which includes those times when your enthusiasm outpaces your talent or resources.
Especially when it outpaces those. Right.
Yeah. And so our new name, I think, also kind of encompasses that, but is much more.
It encapsulates it.
Yes, it tells you what it does on the tin.
Yeah,
more than Team Clearcoat does.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the people the new name?
Sure. Our new name is Apex Adjacent.
Correct. So we're still going to have to spell it for people, I'm assuming, which is brilliant.
I still had to learn how to spell adjacent. Missouri public school system. Yep.
But yeah, Apex Adjacent. We're close.
Yeah.
We're nearly there.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Right.
Still learning.
Somehow we managed to show up. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. We got towards the turn.
Yeah. And we're enthusiastic about it.
We know what the turn is, what an apex
love
is.
This turn.
We know where we should be.
Not there. And we have to shout out Henry.
Absolutely.
The genesis of that was
a virtual track day that we did.
Virtual track day where we were doing like a set of Corsa or something like that.
Yep.
And for some reason, Henry was watching us and was like, you were Apex adjacent on that one. And we were like, that's a pretty good name. We should file that away. So we have to shout Henry out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, that's happening. And to make all of that happen, because there's going to be Dave has a lot of work to do.
We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we do have a lot of work to do, both of us. So there's going to be new intros done.
New artwork.
But all of your subscriptions will stay the same.
Yep.
If you've subscribed to us on social media or anything like that, all of that will be remaining. But over the next few weeks, you'll see some of that start to change. And the first Apex adjacent episode will drop, as the kids say.
As the kids say.
As no kids, as literally no kids say. It will drop on October the 17th.
Yes, October the 17th.
Yep,
2019.
We're sticking with that Thursday release schedule.
We certainly are. Yeah, that's worked well for us. So yeah.
Absolutely. So the night of October the 17th will be the first Apex adjacent. Tell your friend who still talks to you after you've recommended our nonsense to them. That's the plan.
Yeah. So like we were saying, when we had the name TeamClearCoat, the show then found its voice after that. I think that there were a couple big key points in that, like episode 8, like episode 20.
20 was a big one.
Right, yeah. Episode 32, I think. Yeah, so as we kind of like hit these milestones and really figured out exactly what we wanted to be doing with this podcast besides just Ian and Dave are friends, the podcast, which is ultimately the core of it all, right? And it wouldn't work without it. But as we figured out like that candy shell to it, the name kind of meant less and less, right?
Right.
And so I think Apex Adjacent shows the enthusiasm that we have and the voice for, and it tells people it is a car podcast right away.
Right.
You're going to see the artwork for it. You're going to see the name, and you're going to know it has something to do with cars.
Right.
And we always felt that Team Clearcoat was holding us back in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as we love it, and as much as I spent $400 on Team Clearcoat shirts,
Oh man,
we're changing the name.
We can use those shirts to replace the blankets as our sound deadening. And
yeah. Guess what? Anybody that shows up at any Apex adjacent event is gonna get a Team Clearcoat shirt, and we're gonna have more explaining to do.
Yeah. I think we should just seed them to Goodwill stores across the nation.
You know what? That's a good idea. Yeah.
And it's also important to note too that our back catalog will continue to be available. Like we're not none of that stuff's going away. The feed will just update. It should be seamless for everybody.
Yeah, you'll see the name change and the artwork change on the podcast feed. You'll see all the episodes. And so you'll see that stuff change before the episode is posted on October the 17th.
Right.
So if you happen to be just looking through your podcast app, you may see that. But yeah, so you'll see all the Team Clearcoat episodes. And in fact, in case somebody listens to somebody stumbles upon the podcast, which we're hoping they do now with new artwork and a new name, and they go back to the beginning, we don't want them to hear a Team Clearcoat episode right from the beginning. So we're going to be re-recording our first episode, and putting a little explainer. And spoiler alert, this will be the third version of a first episode that we've ever had, which I think speaks to how the show's evolved over time, right? Where we felt that the show had come away from what we were doing or found its voice so much that we felt compelled to tell people right from the get-go, if you come in at episode 1, you can skip a bunch.
Right, exactly. And I think that's exactly what we put on there. And we were basically leaving them up because we are digital pack rats.
We are. Plus, I mean,
does this DLL file give me joy?
Exactly. I've listened to the Harmontown podcast with Dan Harmon, right? I maybe about a year and a half ago, I went to episode 1 and I listened to everything. Now it's on my weekly listen, but I listened to 6 years worth of podcasts.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. And so every now and then I find a new one, you know, and I binge it, you know, until I'm caught up. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I wanted, should somebody want to do that, you know? Yeah. Because I think another fascinating thing about the podcasting medium is seeing depending on the hosts, seeing all of the things that their lives have been through, you know, all the things that have happened in their lives. Right. You know, from when like you discovered them, you know, or when they've started their first episode. I've always been compelled by that, you know, how much people have had happen to them since they started doing X, you know, media. Right.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, you know, I've been through a marriage. You've had children. Right. You know,
Unfortunately, I haven't grown as a person at all.
You know, I got married again.
Exactly the same.
You know? Yeah. It's you know, our lives change. And I think that, like, I just love that about podcasting, that you just have these vignettes into people's lives if they choose for that to be that way. Right. You know, and so we want to leave everything up. We want people to go on a journey with us if they want to do it, you know?
Plus there's some marginally funny things back in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. We've made so many great memories on this show, and we're so thankful for every single person that listens to it.
Yes.
It's introduced us to so many great people, and we're so thankful.
Yeah. Like the name part, we kind of realized, like, as we were talking about, like, kind of mulling this over, like the name part really wasn't that precious to us.
Right. Right.
Like the artwork and like all that stuff is kind of secondary to everything else that we were doing. So.
You're exactly right. The thing that was the most precious to us was like our wit and like the things that we talked about, our relationship, like our focus and our voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to that end.
Okay.
For the last time on the Team Clearcoat podcast.
For the last time.
Let's do the first FMK cars that we ever did.
I would love that.
On the original, we did this on the original.
The original first episode.
The first episode, not the first episode, and certainly not the first episode, which is yet to be recorded.
You're exactly right. Oh, man. Yeah. I like how I've been through how many cars, and you have had the same ones.
I have had the same cars.
You have.
You already passed. This one is the very first FMK cars that we played on podcast 1. Here we go. Okay. The first one is a Chrysler Laser XT with a manual. The next one is the Mitsubishi Starion. I love that there's a typo in there. That seems fitting. On the Instagram post, there's a typo.
Oh,
it says Mitsubishi Station.
You have me and spell check to thank.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it has an automatic transmission.
Right.
And then the third one is a first-gen MR2, also with a manual transmission.
Yes.
And you gave this one to me.
Yes, because I would never marry a Toyota MR2 myself because I don't think I could fit in that first generation.
I don't think it could either.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be funny to see you try.
It's absolutely.
I would like to see that.
Yeah. Would people subscribe to a Patreon to see that? Dave tries to fit into things.
Does it, Dave?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the Mitsubishi the Chrysler XT was because I saw like a crazy, like one in crazy shape at the bagel shop one morning. And that's Dusty Rusty there parked next to it. And it just struck me how, like, I just really appreciated the energy that somebody was putting into keeping such a cool looking car running, and how much that car the styling has come back around. Yeah. You know, in this day and age.
I think even more than the Laser, I think the Starion is just so cool.
It's never not been cool.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's a super cool car.
Yeah.
So what would you do then?
I honestly think I would marry the Laser XT.
Yeah.
And I think I would F the MR2 to try to see if I could fit into it, which means I do have to kill the automatic Starion.
Okay.
Yeah. I do kind of want to change this one a little bit when I give it to you. I want to give you everything with a manual transmission.
Oh, everything with a manual?
Yeah, because I think with the Starion with an automatic transmission would just be an insta-kill for you.
It'd be tempting to kill it, yeah. I even think with an automatic transmission, I would I would drive it for a day.
Okay.
But I think with a manual,
It'd be a hard marry.
Hard marry.
Okay.
Like insta-marry.
Insta-marry. Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
I think in either case, I would end up crushing the MR2.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think so.
Okay. Have you ever driven an MR2?
I have. I drove a
The second generation?
gen.
Okay.
Second gen.
Okay.
MR2.
All right.
It was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't like super impressive. Like I would have S2000 over that,
Okay.
which in my mind makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. I could see you. I could see you in a second gen MR2 or an Acura Integra or something of that era. Yeah.
Yeah, I love all of that era
Yeah.
Japanese sports cars. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, right?
And they're all a lot of fun. It's just that one wasn't as much fun as I thought it could have been.
Okay.
That was all.
Yeah. All right. Right on.
What about you? You've never tried to get into one of those, right?
No, I never have. I don't even know if I've tried to get into one during like an auto show or something. Yeah. Yeah. If we ever find an MR2 at a junkyard or something,
Right.
yeah, I'll have to see if I can fit into it. Yeah, because I just assume they're totaled from like tail whipping. Yeah, what's that called? The snap oversteer. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Oof, I would be a little afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like I think like another thing that has happened over the shows, I think like we've really come into our own with our driving styles.
Right.
Right. And so I was thinking about this while I was mountain biking over the weekend.
Okay.
So my driving style is kind of like my mountain biking style. Like I just like with a front wheel drive car, or like my old man sedan, I just freaking throw a hammer at it. And it's just brute force and just like large movements, not a lot of subtlety or finesse. Right. While my buddy Jason was mountain biking in front of me, and he's like Captain Finesse, like, like weaving, on the trail.
Right.
Like, I don't know how he gets his mountain bike like around like he does, where I'm just like, over rocks.
Right.
It's
like when you play racquetball with someone who knows what they're doing, and they're like holding a beer and standing, and you're like throwing yourself up against walls and like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Yeah. Actually, so there's another YouTube channel, WTF1.
Okay.
Has had a thing up where the host went karting with an F1 test driver.
No way.
And they were showing the F1 test drivers like steering inputs were so small.
Okay.
Compared to the host, and just like, if you know how to, be economic with your inputs, then you need less of all of them.
Right.
So like he could make those tiny little changes with his brake and throttle,
right,
and have less steering input,
right,
which made him faster and smoother and everything. So
that's amazing.
It was really interesting to watch.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
your driving style is very much like let's. It's almost like you don't link the things together in your mind, where you're like, it's very task oriented. That's what I'm getting at. Where like, I am on the straightaway and now I'm in the corner and I will figure that out when I get there.
Yes. And on top of that, I have brought a car or a piece of equipment to this place, which minimizes the consequences of making the decision at that time.
Yes, that's true.
Yep. Versus you, who takes this broad picture, right, and has this like overall like, this is linked to this, is linked to this, is linked to this, and is able to keep all of that in your mind.
But then I get in my own head too, so that's what I'm always battling against, is like I'm overthinking the thing.
Okay.
And I would be better served sometimes by just chucking it in, letting it, and figuring it out.
Right.
So that's the push and pull of both of our driving styles.
Yeah. No, but I think that we've really come to embrace both of those approaches. And I think that that's not just our driving styles, but that's how we handle a lot of things.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think you operate in serial.
Yeah.
And you're very thorough in operating in serial.
Yeah.
And I attempt to operate in parallel.
Right.
And it does not work.
Right. Well, so like I think one thing like I edit all of our videos, right? And I've learned that like I do have to edit them in a linear fashion because I can't Tarantino this shit and like work on like a little bit of the ending and work on a little bit of the middle, and like I really do have to like work on this stuff and have it laid out in my mind in a sequential order.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a lot of fun learning this stuff about ourselves on the show, you know? Yeah. I dig it. I dig it, man.
And talking about all of our feelings.
Yep. All of my feelings.
All of Dave's feelings.
And none of Ian's feelings. Actually, we're rebranding as Feelings Cast.
I hate to break this.
Yeah. So it's now a good time to announce that my therapist is going to be joining us for every episode. Yeah. And she wants to get into you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough copays in the world.
All right. Well, so I appreciate that very first FMK cars, Ian. Yeah. I think that something we learned pretty quick was that it's easy to throw to want to go back to the well on some cars.
Right. So
like, the origins of the swear jar that we haven't really had to hit for a little while.
Yep.
Right. And I want to talk to you about this after.
Okay.
So the like the Volkswagen Phaeton, right? We kind of stayed away from that for a while. The like third gen Mazda RX-7.
Yeah.
As we just kind of moved on to more esoteric and odd things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really appreciate how like we've come up with FMK cars over and over again, and I think that we've just kind of consistently headed in a great direction with those, and I'm excited to continue that in the future.
Yeah, I guess we should have mentioned that too, that FMK cars isn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Neither will like Car Stanza.
Yeah, or the Hotline. Yeah. Oh, Car Stanzas are coming with us. Yeah. We're taking that to our grave. If we're going to get famous for anything, it's going to be Car Stanzas and that goddamn Kia Sorento that haunts my dreams.
Yeah, to be clear, our gravestones won't say anything about Car Stanza. It'll just have a Mercedes emblem on the gravestone.
On a Toyota coffin. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So our good buddy PETA left us a voicemail. Do you want me to play it?
I would love to hear what that goofball has to say.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Here we go.
Hey, Team Clearcoat, it's PETA here. I just wanted to call in a kind of a funny my eyes from this past weekend where I didn't have service to call. But basically went up to Monarch Pass with some friends and was doing some biking. When we got to the top, there was a brand new Taurus SHO towing a 5,500 pound, super, like, way bigger than the car, camper behind it. So went and talked to the guy, and apparently he had a special little hitch setup made that bolts right to the axle. So the Taurus wasn't even sagging in the back at all, and it's just bolted directly to the axle. So I thought that was pretty hilarious. And we've got a photo that one of my buddies took. I'll try to send to you guys to check that out. So yeah, he said he had no problem going 55 miles an hour all the way up to the top of Monarch Pass hauling the thing. And that shouldn't be a problem with that twin turbo V6 that it's got. So thought that was pretty hilarious, seeing a passenger car towing a massive camper. Gotta love it. So anywho, that's about all I've got for now. Just out and about in the Beamer. My lunch break here, so maybe we'll see if it makes a little noise or the message. Alrighty, I'll see you later.
He put a different air intake on it, and it has a wonderful sound.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that everything from PETA always sounds like he's warning of a nor'easter coming in.
He just got done like as Billy Joel's session drummer on an album.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So PETA sent this picture of the Ford Taurus towing a trailer that's about twice as long as it.
Yeah.
Of course, after hearing this voicemail from PETA, what do you think I did, Ian?
The thing that I was just doing, which was Googling the tow rating of the Taurus show.
Let me guess, Ian, did you happen across a Blue Ridge Ford parts supply website?
I did not. No, well, I only made it to like the second result, which was showforum.com.
Oh, okay.
And a forum discussion about it.
About towing capacity? Okay. All right. So I found an official Ford site from Blue Ridge, which is an area in Missouri, just south of where I grew up.
Okay.
And it's like an official Ford's parts forum. And I texted PETA some of the things that they said on this forum. And it says here, here's Ford's line on towing with a Taurus. Summing up, towing a trailer with a Taurus is possible, but to borrow a phrase, the stars must be in alignment. Make sure your trailer meets the weight and frontal area requirements. Make sure your vehicle is in shape to tow and plan to take your time. Also, they say nothing over 1,000 pounds.
Yes.
Okay, that trailer weighs more than 1,000 pounds.
Yes. However, that is the same. So what the people on this forum are pointing out is that that's basically the same drivetrain as like the Flex.
Oh, okay. All right. Engine and transmission?
Right.
Oh, okay.
So they're basically talking about like towing pontoons and stuff, like not that far.
Right.
But basically they're saying like the 2013 show apparently had a transcooler.
Oh.
So make sure you get that.
Okay.
So it's kind of an interesting take on that. Because this person's saying my 2010 Flex has a 4,500 pound towing capacity.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. The geometries are different and everything. And
right.
That's still a lot of load on that transmission.
Right. Right.
Especially up Monarch Pass. That's a no joke pass. That's like a 12,000 foot pass, right?
I think it's a 12,000 foot pass. So you can tell in the picture if it's over 11,900 or what is it? What's
well,
tree
it's
line?
different in different places, but you're right. So it's not quite over tree line.
Yeah. Yeah. Tree line in Colorado is 11,000 and change foot. You just chalk it up to like 11,800.
Right. So that's probably 11,500 ish.
Right.
Around there, 11,000 feet probably.
Yeah. Altitude, Monarch Pass altitude is 11,300 feet. That's high up.
That is high up.
Yeah. But hey, imagine if you didn't have forced induction.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well.
Right? Yeah.
Salute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good job. Good job for you. As long as you didn't kill anyone when your brakes went out going down.
Yeah, do they have a brake controller? Also, how awesome is it that PETA sees this, but then also talks to them and like finds out some information? Yeah. That is fantastic street team material right there.
I just want to know like what the approach was. Like when you walked up to him, it was like, what? Is this a good idea? Explain yourself.
Well, first of all, if you had PETA come up to you and you had that Mainer accent wash over you like a bowl of lobster bisque, I mean, you'd give him your social security number before you knew it.
It's true,
right?
It's true.
Yeah, he's our magic encryption key.
It's absolutely true,
right? Yeah.
Well, so these are just examples of things that will be coming with us. Voicemails.
Absolutely.
Hopefully all of our delightful fans who send us weird stuff.
Yeah.
And us Googling things live on the show.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So I want to close out the show, and I'm going to be earnest for a second.
Ian, you're always earnest.
In my way. But no, I just wanted to say thank you very, very much. Especially like, I am oftentimes quite busy.
You are.
I've been traveling 5 of the last 8 weeks.
Buddy.
And I have 2 very small children at home.
Yeah.
So it's been, it's oftentimes very hectic to get over here, and I get stressed about it, thinking about like, oh man, I got to get over to Dave's, and it seems overwhelming before I get in the car to go over here. But then when I get in the car and I'm thinking about FMK cars to do, and I'm thinking about the show, it's always like such a relief. Like it's such a like nice mental break from the just absolute chaos of my typical week. That I'm so happy that I have this in my life to just like take a second, you know? So it's super important.
Well, I really appreciate that, Ian. And I of course have to thank you because I still cannot believe how you have managed to do this every week. You know, like we've rarely missed an episode. We've taken 2 big breaks.
Yeah.
Right? Like a holiday break, and then when my dad passed away.
Yeah.
You know, like being able to find the time, I really appreciate it. And I'm thankful that we're getting better about optimizing our time and stuff like that, you know,
being more efficient.
Yeah. You know, so my goal is to make it as easy as possible on you, you know, especially when it's like, you know, you're like, I can do this day or this day. And it's like, dude, whatever. Right. Yeah. You know, so I appreciate it. And I'm so thankful for everything that you bring to the show, because no one would want to listen to just this, and no one would want to listen to just that.
Certainly not.
But this together, I'm very thankful for what we have, Ian. It's really important to me. And it's one of those things that, as we've talked about, like all the things that have happened over the course of our lives, this show has been a really huge positive influence in my life and helped me get through some really difficult times. Yeah. So I have you to thank for that. I have my wife to thank for that. I'm just so incredibly lucky to have what I have, to have you, and to have the show, and to everybody listening. I'm so thankful for that. So thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to close out the last Team Clearcoat show.
Right, but not our last podcast.
No,
that's right.
You'll tear this microphone from our cold dead hands.
That's right. I bought a bunch of equipment. I need to use it. Oh, Ian.
So
October 17th.
Yep.
You're going to see
new show, and then also to be followed shortly around then, hopefully some new videos.
Yes.
Which we're very excited about.
Yeah. So we're going to hit with a new video series. We've got an interview in the bank that everybody's going to love. Yeah. So yeah.
Stuff to look forward to.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, we love you.
Absolutely.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.